I want to give you this scenario. I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, and I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in '41, and I was brought to Moulton, Alabama. I assume that they dropped me off at the Cortland Air Base that had just been built in '41. This is me in '43. This is a woman. They gave me the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers, married Childers. She had killed her twins that were born out of wedlock, Carl Preston Dempsey and Peggy Ann Dempsey. The family covered it up, and Annie Dempsey Carter, the sister out of Carlisle, Kentucky, who was a teacher at the military academy in Lexington. When I had this from Larry Flint in a car at the time in it would have been in '84. She admitted to me that the family knew about my being who I am and my kidnapping and the murder of the twins. And that's the glossed over picture. They brought the cars in, somebody did, and a tripod to take the pictures because they had nothing like that. So I wanted to give you that the family knew about my kidnapping and who I am and the death of the twins, the murder. So it's in something, I didn't commit any crimes. They were done to me systematically and still are being done. Now then, this is my father, Edward VIII. This is my grandfather, George V. Don't confuse him with Elizabeth's father, illegal George VI. That's 1939, the year I was born, and they're planning my kidnapping. This is Roosevelt, who appointed Joe Kennedy, and the Klan got into my kidnapping, the Kennedys. JFK would fly in there and stay, and his brother in '41 and prior, before I was kidnapped. So Joe Kennedy was ambassador to England, and the Illuminati, or the New World Order that's in power now, the Freemasons, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers. So my father, Edward VIII, was never married to Wallace Simpson. This is a double, a look-alike. 99 years sealed on my father's removal, illegal, when his brother helped in it and gave access to kidnapping me. My father was married to American Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, a high school teacher from Madison, Wisconsin. This is my aunt, sister to Georgia O'Keefe. She's my aunt. This is Elizabeth, illegal, who has known all along, and while all these things happen to me, she's in her glory, spending my money, the Brits' money, traders to Great Britain. Since then, I wanted to get this in. This is all where my money's going. Charles is a member of the New World Order. The very people kidnapped me. And Elizabeth and her whole brood. And I guess she went after the crown jewel, somebody said. So this is my sons, Mark and Scott, who I have no idea where they are. They're heirs after me, Mark and Scott. And let me say this real quick, if I can get it on here. I'm always saying real quick because the video runs out, and I have to give more background. I wrote about mind control murder 76 till April Fool Day of 80, and I had antifreeze put in me. And, of course, the book didn't get published. I was stuffed in a car by this woman, my ex-husband, and Philip, who I'm not sure who he is. He is just retired from the ATF, and he worked FBI, and he worked, well, I'm not going to put anything else on about him, because I grew up with him, and I loved him, and he's a nice person. So, I don't know, he helped stuff me in the car in the condition I was in, and I ended up a month later in that condition, or 2 months later, in 80 working for the district attorney, Simpson. So you get Madison County DA in Huntsville. So I'm not going to go any further there. I'm just going to put this because I'm not going to get to what I wanted to say. I wrote about mind control murders back then, and Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, March the 6th of '78. He even says here in this editorial, which is April of '84, that I knew was responsible for his shooting. Mr. Flint was shot and his attorney was killed, and the man was programmed. It's the agency that's doing it. And this is one of them here at Virginia Tech, next door to me. I've been here since '86 in Roanoke, Troutville area, living on the Appalachian Trail part, a lot of the time freezing and starving because I totally got shut down. But this is one of them. The Fort Hood shooter was a psychiatrist who finished school at Tech next door, Virginia Tech, and was born in Roanoke, Vinton. This is, I want to say this. This is my sons Mark and Scott. These were done in patterns, these murders, that I've been telling about over the years, and deliberately, because mind control is invisible. This is Mark and Scott, and I told you that I was brought up here and given the name of a twin that were killed by this woman, her kids. So this is Mark Kelly. He's an astronaut, twin to Scott Kelly. And that takes you back to NASA a bit, or Houston. NASA started in Huntsville. Whose money and all the treaties do you think started it? Was brought over here. My hostage. Mark Kelly's married to Gabby Gifford, the congresswoman. I ran for Congress and didn't get. This is Tucson, Arizona shootings. And here is Timothy McVeigh, who told everybody the U.S. Army put a chip up them. This is implantable biochips, and it's Project Lucid by Tex Mars. But my book, I was writing about all this before that happened in '76 to '80 when they put antifreeze in me. And that's just one step in all that they've done to me. What I wanted to say here is it was the treaties that were made after my kidnapping in '41, the illegal treaties that were signed by my uncle. He's illegal. They removed my father and put a 99-year seal on my birth, Victoria II, legal heir to the British Crown, and the illegal removal of my father. Now, Israel became a state, the Jews, and they're the ones that kidnapped me, helped my uncle and the Kennedys kidnap me. And the UN was started, and that's your taking over of the basis of taking over your global government and all the treaties that happened. So what's going on now? You know, I've tried to put on YouTube what's been done to me. It's been an ongoing in plain sight, and using people, them knowing what's being done to me. I mean, you talk about torture and terrorism. It's unbelievable what they've done. I'm 76 years old. I can hardly walk, and it's still being done to me. Just like to my cousins, our Nicholas's daughter, Anastasia, and it was her that was murdered next door to me in Charlottesville, where the University of Virginia is. And that was really her in '84 that was killed. His house she was killed. What I want to say here is they're bringing in, I've been in the White House carrying documents with the FBI, a letter from them, ongoing investigation, national security involved. The book I was trying to get published, MB, A License to Kill. That's before I found out about my name and why all this really is happening and my kidnapping. Now, then I actually fell down in '82, I believe it was the summer of '82. Yeah, trying to turn over, and I did log it in at the White House executive mailroom to Reagan's adopted son. It had that on his lapel. I actually logged it in, and you don't want to know what happened to me after then, en route from there back to Atlanta trying to find my sons and get a little alimony money from my ex-husband who helped put the antifreeze in me, okay? So you got me in the White House. I was there on the street carrying all this stuff trying to get, I turned it over. The antifreeze was put in me. I had where that was put in, and was turning it over to ABC on South Street, I believe, all the media, and I was told they already knew about my kidnapping, and I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know what they knew about. I didn't know about being kidnapped till '83. But anyway, I was in the Capitol, not White House, in the Capitol